Hey there, this is Clay with RelationshipInnerGame.com, and I know that emotionally unavailable men are something that a lot of women tend to fall into relationships with quite a bit, unfortunately. And I know it's also sort of a big topic in and of itself, but let's just kind of talk about 5 signs that somebody might be emotionally unavailable. When you meet them, when you start interacting with them, so that you can kind of cut it off sooner rather than later, instead of investing all of this time and energy into something that unfortunately might not really end up anywhere. Okay, so the first sign is that a guy is emotionally unavailable if he's in a relationship with somebody else. If somebody is in a relationship with somebody else, then they are just emotionally unavailable to have a relationship with you because they are in a relationship with somebody else. I know this is kind of obvious, but you really shouldn't count on him breaking up with his wife or breaking up with a girlfriend or something like that in order to be with you. And if he does, number one, you should be really scared, because that kind of gives you a little bit of a precedent that he might cheat on you as well too. After all, how you start a relationship is how you finish a relationship. If it starts with cheating, it's probably going to end with cheating. Okay, don't want to go down there. Okay, if he's in a relationship, let him be in that relationship. Don't think that you need to date somebody who's in a relationship. There are plenty of other great, wonderful men out there who aren't in relationships. You can date them. There's lots of them. They want to date you. They're great. They have like 6-pack abs and good jobs and everything like that. You can date them. They're out there. I promise you, okay? They are emotionally available. So go ahead and find them, okay? So that's the first sign, is that he's in a relationship with someone else. And then the second sign that he might be an emotionally unavailable man is that he does a vanishing act, right? So maybe you go out on a date, or you have a really great interaction, and it's like really close and warm and snuggly, and it feels good and warm and fuzzy and all of that stuff. But then he just sort of like poof, vanishes. It's gone, right? That's definitely a sign that he might be an emotionally unavailable man. And by vanish, I mean, maybe like you can't get a hold of him for like a week or more, right? If he's just busy at work or something like that for like 8 hours, that's totally normal. Don't sweat it. Some people have unrealistic expectations about being in contact with the person they're dating, but if he's just like totally off the radar for like a month or a week or something like that, then that's a big sign that he's emotionally unavailable. And what's usually happening here is that he is getting close to you, opening up to you and all that stuff, and it feels really good for you, but for him, he realizes that he's getting a little bit too close to somebody, and it's getting to the point where he might actually have to commit to them or form a relationship or something like that. And that scares him, so he backs off. He distances himself. That's where the whole vanishing act comes from, okay? So that's definitely something that you want to keep in mind when you're sort of looking for emotionally unavailable guys, okay? The third sign that he might be emotionally unavailable is that he keeps things casual. Now, sure, a lot of relationships will start pretty casually. You don't want to start them with like expectations through the roof, like, hey there, let's go on a date and see if I want to marry you, right? Like, that's just weird, right? But you want to start things casually, but if they don't naturally sort of progress up, the more time you spend together, the more you connect, the more you interact with one another, and it just sort of stays casual, where it's just like, yeah, you should come over, once the bar closes at 2, and we can, watch Netflix and chill or something like that. And the two of you have like been together or seen each other in some fashion or other for, several months, then that is a big sign that he is an emotionally unavailable guy. Usually if you see a guy for, a couple weeks or a couple months or something, usually what will happen is you'll start to eventually end up escalating the commitment that you have to one another, and end up becoming like a boyfriend, girlfriend sort of thing, or sort of forming something that resembles a relationship, right? But if it just sort of is flatlining at this like constant state of casualness, where he's not really sort of upping his investment in the relationship with you, then that just shows that he is not really ready to commit to a relationship, not really ready to commit to a woman. And chances are he's probably a little bit emotionally unavailable, okay? The fourth sign that he might be emotionally unavailable is if he recently had a breakup or a divorce, or maybe like his wife died or something like that, right? If he's recently lost some sort of relationship, either voluntarily or involuntarily, he's going to be a little bit emotionally unavailable. Now, most people, when they go through a breakup or a divorce or unfortunately a death, they will be temporarily emotionally unavailable, right? You know, you've probably been through a breakup at some point in your life. You know that, like, the day after you get dumped, you're not really emotionally ready to have a great relationship. You might think that you're ready to have a great relationship, but you're not really ready to have a great relationship because your emotions are still caught up in the breakup, they're still caught up in your ex, they're still caught up in all of these other things. And so if you meet a guy and he, you know, just got dumped like last week, or just went through a divorce last week, or his wife just died, or something like that, then chances are he is emotionally unavailable. Now, most people will eventually, after they go through this breakup period, become emotionally available again gradually, unless they were just emotionally available in the relationship, and then the relationship broke up, and then they just stayed emotionally unavailable after that, right? In which case, you know, you got to just accept that he is emotionally unavailable, okay? Now, do people change? Yes. Can people change? Yes. Will he change for you? Probably not. Okay, you cannot expect a guy to change for you. You can't expect to be able to change a guy. You can't expect the power of your love to melt his icy little bitter heart or anything like that, okay? You have to just either accept him the way that he is as an emotionally unavailable guy, or you have to let him go, okay, and create the space in your life for an emotionally available guy to come in and meet you and interact with you and all the good, warm, fuzzy stuff that you've seen in all the romantic comedies everywhere. So just know that if he is recently out of a breakup or a divorce or something like that, chances are he's most likely emotionally unavailable, at least temporarily, possibly long-term, but at least temporarily. That's the fourth sign that he might be emotionally unavailable. And the fifth sign that he might be an emotionally unavailable man is that he is kind of a perfectionist in a lot of areas in his life. When you are a perfectionist, you're really just seeking perfection in you know, your relationship, in your love life, in anything like that. And unfortunately, none of us are perfect, right? You're probably not perfect. I know damn well I'm far from perfect. And if a guy is seeking perfection, he's going to find something wrong with you. He's going to find some reason to disqualify you, some reason to not commit to you, some reason why you're not good enough to be his girlfriend or whatever, right? And if there's sort of an unreasonable amount of perfectionism, in his, you know, obviously we can be perfectionistic in certain areas of our life, like, you know, maybe our hobby, our craft, our passion, whatever that thing might be. But if you're being perfectionistic in your demands of other people in your interpersonal relationships, then that's a very strong sign that you might be dealing with an emotionally unavailable person, okay? So if he is kind of perfectionistic in that way, that's definitely a big sign that he's an emotionally unavailable guy. So I hope this video has helped you out. I hope that the guy that you have in your mind right now isn't an emotionally unavailable guy, but whether or not he is, if you'd like to learn more about how to have a great, rewarding, and amazing relationship with the kind of emotionally available, loving man that I'm sure you deserve to be with, please go ahead and check out our website, relationshipinnergame.com. Also, if you like what we're doing here, please give us a thumbs up or subscribe to the YouTube channel, or leave a comment down below. Tell us about your experiences with emotionally unavailable men. What have been some signs that you've seen that have made you realize that, hey, this guy's an emotionally unavailable dude? And get the conversation started down there. Anyway, this has been Clay with relationshipinnergame.com. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and safe dating.